happy to be here. I hope you can all understand me. I try to speak very loudly. So, yeah, I'm Anika. I'm working for YPOG law firm, based in Berlin, Hamburg, soon Munich as well. I'm a regulatory lawyer, and I'm here with very special guests, I would say. I don't know if they need too much introduction, actually. I'm here with Michael Spitz, with Raphael, Hess from Finexity. We have Tim Janssen from Finexity, and we have Marco Hennig from DeFi. And I would like everyone to briefly introduce yourself. What are you doing? What's your business about?
Okay. Thank you very much, Anika. So my name is Michael. I'm the co-CEO of 360X. We are a trading venue. Shareholders are Deutsche Börse and Commerzbank. And we basically, from a product point of view, we focus on financial instruments, both in a securitized and in a tokenized format, both secured and unsecured, both on DLT and non-DLT. We basically, as main services, offer the area of OTC trading, continuous matching, and listing as our main service, and our ancillary services is placement, license, and also data. And then ultimately, we don't deal with retail, so it's only professional and wholesale. And as of, we have a bunch of licenses thanks to Anika and her team that are required, and some of them are not required or will never be required. And ultimately, we decided that while your broker-dealer can trade, as of this week, all EVPGs on our platform, everything. So that's what we do.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Raphael Hess. I'm the co-founder of Heartstock. We are a Liechtenstein entity-based tokenization service for the German-speaking markets. We focus on equity tokenization, especially like emitting stocks and bringing that to the traditional financial market. So basically, we are acting as a bridge between the new and the old world, you could speak. What we do is now we are 3.5 years into the market, and we learned a lot. We also shifted from B2C to B2B. And our main focus nowadays is also to mature in the ecosystem, and also focus now, the topic is to talk about DLT, how our approach will be here in order to go for the next steps of our stocks in order to bring them to the markets.
Thanks. My name is Tim Janssen, and I'm founder and CTO of Finexity, based in Hamburg. And with Finexity, we have already tokenized and issued over 170 projects in the real asset sector. We have an investment platform running for more than 5 years with the secondary market operating. And yes, we believe that the private markets investment will grow massively in the upcoming years. And our goal is to develop a regulated trading venue for the private markets, and that should be made in Germany. Yes, and thank you for the invitation, and also for being host.
Yeah, hi everybody, I'm Marcus. I'm happy to be here. I'm a principal with DeFi, and I have spent the last 6 years in, say, digital asset domain. I have helped a lot of clients to build like custody solutions. I worked in, say, in tokenizations, also like crypto securities recently, and most recently also entered the domain of CBC. So it's a really interesting journey. And back to you.
Back to me. So I don't know if everyone here in the room knows what we mean when we talk about real-world assets. So maybe I would like you to do an explanation, or what do you, and maybe also in your businesses, what do you consider a real-world asset? Maybe we start here.
Sure. So from our point of view, we looked at how large are different markets, and we felt there are a lot of possibilities. Like you can tokenize sneakers, you can have old-timers, and so on and so forth, or vintage cars. But at the end of the day, the markets we looked at for trading venue, where we really felt are strong enough, is music, art, and real estate, and gaming, funnily enough, but we haven't found a team yet on the gaming side. So if you're in gaming and interested, please contact me. And we basically tokenize, our partners tokenize the cash flow stream. So you have no right to own the picture or anything. It's really, you have access to the cash flows. And that's what we basically bring as a financial instrument on our trading venue.
So basically, bond. Yeah.
Fixed income instruments, equity, depending on the
Yeah.
jurisdiction, yes,
Okay.
but cash flows basically.
For us, it's like a simple case. You could say everything you can book into an AG, a stock market company, is something we actually care about. So that can be from tangible assets, like mentioned by Michael, like an old timer we did before, but it can also be private equity or other like tangible assets like rare earth material and things like this. So basically we focus what our clients need, what the demand is on, and we basically try to bring this to the market. So everything that's tokenizable in that sense is in scope.
Yeah, sure. And more than 5 years back, we already thought about tokenization and the potential of tokenizing real assets. That makes it affordable for everybody to earn a fraction of the real asset. In case we started with real estate projects, then we took our multi-asset approach, and we also structure art pieces, wine and diamonds and so on. And as well, just for the underlying, we can tokenize everything. But especially for us, we address to retail investors and also find an investment flow covered with customer protection and also regulated by liability umbrella company, and that we can address our products to retail investors, that they can afford and that they can profit from assets which were not easily accessible for them, and now they can just earn a fraction of that.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting term because I think there's maybe no regulatory framework around it. We normally expect, but I would say this is like a kind of whole range of assets. Can be like non-tangibles, tangibles. I mean, I think we have heard a lot of tangibles here, also like non-tangibles. The non-tangible side, I would also say there's a lot of like assets which you can put into kind of traditional regulatory frameworks like security tokens and so on. And I think it means everything we can actually put what we have in our, say, current world into a token which represents an asset, and this means that we can digitalize something and just put it on some kind of like distributed ledger if you want to.
Yeah. Okay, but I understand that in most cases the wrapper is always a MiFID II financial instrument. Would be stocks, could be also bonds, could be also derivatives, which is in our headline, but we don't want to focus on these assets today. Super interesting. You mentioned retail clients, and we're now talking about the next wave of adoption. I would say the market started more with providing access for retail clients to fractionalized investments. Would you say now there's another, or where's the next wave, or is there also an institutional adoption coming along? Maybe
I can take this question. Like, in our business approach, unfortunately, we don't do retail clients ourselves anymore. It's a lot of work, unfortunately, and also the margins are really small. So basically, we focus next to it to go to B2B, in order to just like scale up and grow. But still, we have it as an option to provide to our clients in case they want to bring a product to the retail market. We can open that up. We can do it via our own platform. We can do a white label solution. So this is all possible. But now with the whole DLT licensing, of course, there's like new markets to be captured in that sense. In our approach, we want to go for the traditional markets. So we won't go for DLT MTF license ourselves because we don't want to create another marketplace, which is small in that sense. We would actually like to target the traditional financial markets. And so our approach will be to go to already established MTFs and make our products work, since they're like here with the stock with an ICE, and so we can use traditional order routing methods in order to bring that to the market and also make that accessible.
And maybe just, do you do that under Luxembourg or Liechtenstein framework, or do you do this under European framework?
Actually, in Germany.
In Germany, okay. Interesting how you book it then. There, I think we can catch up on this. But maybe, what would you say?
Actually, with our experience, we have on the one hand side the Finexity marketplace and the brokerage we do for retail investors and our real assets. And on the other hand, we hopping into the DLT MTF and also want to offering a trading venue to find a listing service, find a settlement process as well for the connecting to banks and digitize their use cases to find digital use cases for citizen participation or let's say governance shares.
Okay, maybe you also decided to jump into the DLT pilot regime. I think today we have heard about the DLT pilot regime already. There were lots of panels or at least keynotes on it. So maybe that's just a brief introduction. What is this? This is a European framework for market infrastructures that are based on DLT, where you can trade and settle on the DLT layer financial instruments. So not crypto assets in the sense of Bitcoin and others, but real DLT-based financial instruments, stocks and bonds and so on. So maybe, can you tell us why you decided to join, or where do you see the potential of this regime?
I think there are a couple of points. So when you look back, and given my age already, that's a long way back. Trading was done primarily, it didn't matter. We didn't differentiate with multilateral or bilateral. It was just trading, and we found a way to get around that. Whether it was OTC or ultimately we had a continuous matching. But thanks to a couple of nice people, both in Germany and also in Brussels, they decided that everything, if you want to offer the more than one, it has to be multilateral. So obviously there was, when we started the process, everything was still possible bilaterally. Now, then they said, no, it has to be multilaterally. So obviously you need to follow that idea. We looked into various areas. Do we want to be the expert in terms of settlement? No, I think there are other experts in there. Also, what is going to happen after the pilot regime is over? Are you becoming then a CSD? Or what's the point? So at the MTF level, we felt very strongly that applying for a DLT MTF, which would then trigger also an MTF, you know exactly what you're getting into. You can do some testing and think that and get some of the exemptions, whether it is related to retail investors there, and seeing whether that is a new opportunity, how that could work, and obviously to capture and probably in the larger scale of what is the offering of Deutsche Börse Group, where you have traditional securities, equities, futures, whereas 360T, DBDX, and so on offering cryptos, and while Clearstream and Crypto Finance offering the settlement area. So obviously, why not also get this last? This was joking, but but seriously, we want to make sure that if it's a DLT financial instrument, that we'll be able to service this as well. So obviously, and I think we were, given my history, also quite instrumental in the IWBG, so we knew what was coming there, and I think it's just a logical step for us. Just frustrating that it took so long. So I think thanks to Anika, we applied on the 23rd of March, 2023.
Yeah, it takes time. Not always the best to be the first, but we will. So maybe, but what made you decide to join this?
Actually, if you compare the blockchain or let's say the history of blockchain and also the different parties and also different marketplaces, we see over 450 OTC marketplaces in Germany, and for us, with our OTC, with our secondary market, we are offering a trading feature which is slightly useful for others, and for us it's more that kind of to get the professionality and also to get the trading partners on board, that we can create an ecosystem, blockchain-based ecosystem that connects different parties to also integrate blockchain technology into the possibility for trading partners to get access to those assets. So we see that also banks ask for adoption for more products and have not the technology or the basis to do it by their own, actually. And instead of growing every marketplace, we need to think in interoperability and try to solve in corporations that lack of secondary market feature we are lacking in when we talk about blockchain and tokenization.
Yeah, I think interoperability is a good keyword. Maybe, Marcus, you advise a lot of clients implementing infrastructures, provide policies around it. What do you see in the market are more or less common frameworks to set up a DLT market infrastructure, or could you see what our market needs?
Okay, for market infrastructure, I mean, you have like different choices. I mean, you can set something like a private permissioned network. Probably most are doing this. I think there's a recent study on block daemons. Something like Hyperledger Bezo is really popular. But you can see it's like the private permissioned say domain. It's sort of like this EVM compatible blockchain, which may give a hint that there's the idea, okay, may going public at some point along the road. We don't know yet. But going public for market DLT market infrastructure can be also like problematic. I mean, if you look into like the Basel Committee, what they have suggested, because they have this kind of say it's called an operational risk premium on the infrastructure you're running. So I think it will probably start in the permission space, but there's this, I think, this idea to may also go public. I mean, I would say public. I mean, for me personally, would be nicer because there's much more possibility of other protocols, you know, to interact with these assets or like also like other services. But I think it's still open somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe just to chip in, because I thought the biggest discussion we had with the regulator when we described to them, we're applying for DLT MTF, but we're not using blockchain at all. We don't even touch it. Because you don't need to operate an MTF or DLT MTF, you don't need to use the blockchain. The end instrument as such need to be tokenized, yes. But from a trading point of view, as we don't settle and we don't clear, we are not involved in that. It's just we can just run it on a normal server in the cloud. I think what's very interesting, I think yesterday the BIS published kind of their vision of the future of the financial markets, including payment, with the concept of a unified ledger. I think that is some truth to that. So I think talking 1 year from now, a lot more will be talked about this, in particular interoperability, in a sense that you don't need one ledger, but you need like a couple of ones that be able to, where you can deploy certain assets on. And I think that could be one of the solutions, but I truly believe in a hybrid model where you have the traditional world, because when you go out to clients and saying, listen, do you want to buy this tokenized music or tokenized art? And they say to me, Michael, you have the choice now. Either you want to sell me something tokenized because I don't have the infrastructure yet, or you want to sell me a new asset class, which is art. Tell me what you want me to push in your organization. It's not going to be both, because then the answer is no. So from that point of view, we need to bring up some ideas of having the securitized new assets, and then gradually seeing how the adoption comes from the, let's say, technology point of view.
But I also like the hybrid approach. But also, if you go from the traditional financial product and talk about tokenization, talk about 24 hours availability, less costs, all the pros we are knowing, then we should also talk about hybrid models, but also multi-chain. So the interoperability will need to be there to connect with several chains, because I think you always have to choose the right financial product, but then also do the requirement analysis and go for the correct technology behind it, and not just go for one technology and then structure an asset no matter what. I would take it from the asset.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because it won't help if we have our silo solutions and you cannot really trade them somewhere else, or it could be a lock-in effect. Maybe some of them want this. But I think one question would still be, when you look at your market participants, you said you are in a B2B business. What do your B clients then require in order to also offer such new real world assets to their clients? So what would they need from you?
So from like our clients' perspective, what really counts for them is what people want, because at the end of the day, whatever you try to tokenize and you do great stuff, you always need someone who buys it, right? So the demand is like, where's the demand right now? It's there, for instance, for renewables. We can clearly see that people are like really requesting it. So people are looking for a form in order to buy that in a convenient way, with less risk, but transparent, perfectly done, in the best case in a regulated market, with a prospectus explaining everything like a traditional way would be, right? So this is what people are looking for. It's basically security and stability, at least what we figure out for us. So what we do is, and this is what we already did, is we're going for stocks. And stocks is something easy to grasp, it's something we know, right? And it's also easy for the stock to get an ISIN. And this is like, again, bringing to the like former, like behavioral, like things we did before in the financial market, is to just like do something which we already know. And people don't really care what is the underlying, as long as it works. It's sad to say it like that. And also from our experience, from Heartstock's experience, we don't talk about blockchain with our clients. It's really sad. But like, as soon as you bring in blockchain, people are like a little bit hesitant to do something, because, oh, it's a new world. Like, where's the risk? They're really looking for it. Anything else. But if you're talking about, okay, this is a stock, this is your ISIN, this is your depot, we will bring it into your depot, and you will be able to like sell it and buy it into an MTF, and everything almost stays the same. This is what people are interested in. And bringing these really interesting assets, like for instance renewables, into a traditional system and bring that to their clients is something that works, at least from our perspective, as we see it right now. To be honest, though, of course, there's a little bit of my heart breaking here, since like we're taking a step back from the whole DLT vision to be more decentralized, to be more independent. But our approach here is to really tap in first to traditional markets, because there's still a lot of money. And this is where a lot of demand is to set some money into the market. And so we basically want to provide these products which have this market fit as of today.
Also market adoption.
Exactly.
People know how it works, and then later on you can actually start growing and also decentralizing.
Exactly. This is all next steps which is possible.
Yes.
We're still on Ethereum in our case, but we really just like have the small like touch point with the blockchain here.
Yeah. But do your customers then require an own custody solution, or how do you structure this? Or in the end, your end customer doesn't want to have your wallet properly?
Well, that really depends on the customer.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, some have like clear vision, especially depending on their risk management. Some want to have their own, some don't mind. They just don't want to lose the password, right? Or want to have the ability to regain one. So it really depends on who's basically the person at the very end who's using the system. And this is where we basically take a look at it.
Okay. But when we say then market adoption, the next wave, would you actually say there is market adoption? I mean, we see now that there are more businesses setting up. We have now this pilot regime that kind of force, I would say, bilateral platforms into becoming MTFs, which is on the one hand side, it's good to have transparent markets, but on the other side, to have an MTF means you need market makers, you need somehow liquidity to have an actual functioning trading venue. So this is quite for such asset classes. I would believe they are not the most liquid ones. So where would you say is this market adoption now, or when will there be an actual market adoption?
From our point of view, this is at least what we did. We actually went to partners with the client who already has a vision what he wants to have. right? And it helps us a lot because when the client goes there, we already know who's buying it. And if this client is big, of course, you have more potential to actually acquire big players who will work with you. So how will people know about the market adoption? In my opinion, right now, they don't know it, right? They will just get like a new product, which they might be interested in, for instance, a renewable, but they don't really know at this point that this is a tokenized asset because, at least from our point of view, they're still just buying a stock. And so why would they ask something about it as long as they get an easy, convenient product, what they look for?
Yeah. Okay, you might want to add something.
Well, maybe just for the sake of being controversial for the last 10 minutes. No, I think what we found quite interesting when we analyzed all of the EVPGs, we of course had an ISIN and trying to put it under scrutiny of a data integrated, a correct way of displaying it. We found that there were quite a lot of, let's say, misrepresentation in the entries. So getting an ISIN does only mean that someone called up Wertpapiermitteilung and gave them information. So when we checked, is this really the maturity in the field that's in there with the issuer? No, that's not the maturity. Why do you think it is? And we said, well, have a look at the screen because that's what. So I think the entire market, if they coming from a new point of view, need also to get the quality right, because otherwise, if you trade an asset that has the right criteria, you might get the yield wrong. And if you're really interested in that, you can see some of the larger banks last year who got it the decimals wrong and had a big issue on certain things in the traditional one. So I think there will be a lot of awakening. And so I'm hoping to see that by offering the possibility to trade all EVPGs, some of the people will only say, I'm going to make a market only the ones where I'm also the custodian and the Registerführer. Other people will say, I'm only going to make a market in real estate. The other one, and this is how a market is being created by having supply and demand with different views. But one thing's for sure, we got to make sure that the information is correct. And blockchain doesn't help if someone put the wrong data in the beginning.
Yeah, totally agree. So maybe if we look at DLT, MTFs, DLT, SSs, so that I would say there are different ways to build such an infrastructure. Where would you say are then the new add-ons to actual infrastructures we see now? So do you see maybe on the settlement side, there will be lots of innovation coming in the next year, or where maybe coming from an infrastructure perspective, Marcus?
And also some good points with that about like say securities according to the Electronic Security Act. The thing is like, I mean, everybody's speaking like say operational efficiency and say, okay, they're getting much cheaper, and but at the end of the day, it's probably more expensive, like because you have to build the infrastructure. You're going on DLT, which really kind of hinders the kind of adoption. I mean, it's maybe also not the trading definitely at some point, but what I'm thinking is like, if you really want to live all this kind of efficiency, you need some kind of like cash flows on that. So you have to get there somehow, but it will probably take, I don't know how many years until we have that. Because otherwise we have maybe some kind of simple products which are not not much market demand for that. And we have built all these kind of really expensive infrastructures that probably say siloed in the beginning. So I still think it just takes a lot of kind of like, especially new infrastructures. I mean, we need custodians. I mean, they're also not already there. I mean, they can't just like handle securities. I mean, it's not already there at this point. And then we have to come to trading. So, yeah, at some point. But I think there's a long way to go to build infrastructure before we have real adoption of that.
Yeah, and maybe now we have this pilot regime which provides an actual quite framework that we already knew. So we have now trading venue and a CSD on chain, but still when you could like rewrite this regime, and there will be some time that it will be reassessed. What would you make differently? Because I remember, I think 3-4 years ago, we were sitting here, we don't need all of these infrastructure providers. We can take out like, I don't know, the CSDs of such infrastructures. What would you make differently, because I think we are still thinking about account-based systems where not everybody has the same information, but now we have an infrastructure where you actually could provide an information background for each of the participants. So maybe, I don't know, who wants to start?
In the beginning, we also addressed the market pretty carefully and also took away the blockchain in marketing. And we started with private permission blockchain to show that the whole process is covered and everything is showing also that it's working. And from now, we see that a lot of island solutions exist in the market. And if we now take the infrastructure and see what the potential blockchain, all the different layers provide to us, then it makes it possible. And definitely blockchain is a success of multi-factor driven, that we have to integrate several solutions to have a platform in place which is possible to address multi-chains, which is connecting to several partners. So today as well, also go for discussions and corporations. And we don't need more island solutions. We need to have a trading venue. We need to have a marketplace. We need to have a system which offers the benefits of blockchain technology, more layers.
Yes. Michael, maybe you want to.
Are you sure?
Because you
Are you sure?
go to
No.
the
I would basically really do a pilot regime in a sandbox, and once you fill out a term sheet, you should be granted a license within 30 days, and basically being revoked it within 100 days if you fail certain minimum things that you promised. I think it is not. I mean, we got lucky in a way that you also get the benefit of getting an MTF license, because that's what we wanted anyway as well. But if that was not the case, it's just very, very expensive paper shuffling. And so from that point of view, I would really say just create a sandbox. All the participants should be aware, listen, everything is at risk that you do here, and not treat it like a full-based license. That's what I would change.
Yeah, I understand. So time's a bit running out, so I would.
I really like the approach, actually. Like, it's a pragmatic one, and of course we all know the pain in order to get a license done. Like we just heard, like this is over a year ago. Also, when we got regulated, this was also 1.5 years process in Liechtenstein. Like it's not that big, right? So we know the pain, and especially for startups, it's painful as well. Time is money, right? But other than that, it's really interesting, and I would actually keep it this way because it's interesting. These like island providers are visionaries, right? They're API first providers who care about the new vision, and they might approach the whole of processes differently than the established players did. On the other side, of course, we try to empower established players. We have a lot of comfort going with it. But the main point here, or main pain point here, is the speed. We have to wait so long for processes to happen or for decisions to be made. And learning from each other, I think, is what is really important for the whole innovative space here. So we need both, even though also we need to use both like island providers as well as the old ones, and they cost a lot of money. Like I'm completely agreeing with Marcus here, like these small players are charging a lot of money. So everything is not as cheap as people promise. But this is, I guess, the pain of being the first in the market and really trying to innovate it with all the pain which comes.
Yeah. So maybe.
And I would standardize all of the legal agreements in one go. That should have been the government from the European Union. They should have just said, these are the documents. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need advisors. Just go for it. That would have been the good stuff.
Yeah, I think also the lawyer. So maybe just for the last minute, each of you just some sentences. In 10 years from now, do I carry around my real world asset in my pocket? Do I go to some other marketplaces, trade it on Amazon? Oh, what kind of your projection for the future? Maybe you want to start. So maybe.
all from that side.
Yeah, I mean, I have this dream like to have my wallet in 10 years and have all my assets from, I don't know, in-game items you mentioned, music, and also like, say, traditional assets. But I guess probably the game items I will have, probably the music I will have, but I don't see, say, the securities, because I think there's still a lot of comparts missing. We need to, probably my dream will be true in 10 years. Maybe you guys do it.
Well, in 10 years, I also want to address the use case to also find a solution for real problems. And now with real world assets, we definitely see that they become even more emotional to have a fraction of a bank C or real estate project nearby. But yeah, especially when it comes to the real assets get tokenized, that's in addition to all the products banks offer. So they need to see that in addition, and there's a demand for those assets. I think as well as we heard it several times today, everything he also mentioned that tokenization and the real asset sector will grow massively. Oh, sorry.
No.
Very quickly. I think innovation will always make a lot of wallets available, and I do believe we will have our assets in different wallets. What we might have in 10 years is like an overview in an app, like a dashboard, which gives us an overview about all assets. But still, things are developing that fast, so there won't be one unified wallet always supporting everything. I don't think it's happening.
So in April 2034, basically everything will be tokenized, but only 3% will be in a wallet form. So I think 97% will still be in traditional form, but some people will come around saying every single bond that German government does is also available either like this or like this, and you can decide what it is. Everything. There will be people just doing, I tokenize this table, I tokenize it. So everything will be available in a certain digital format, whether that what kind of technology that will be. I will have my virtual co-pilot who will manage certain things with me. And by that time, I think there will be the third workshop on the ECB on central bank currency.
Great having you all. It was great fun having you. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.